Good morning! It is Wednesday, December 16th. This is my beautiful baby, Nora. She just woke up from her nap. It is 2:45 p.m. right now. And do you want to hold your brush? Yeah. You hold your brush. How do you use it? Can you brush your hair? Watch this. Nora, where's your head? That's right. That's right, beautiful, smart angel girl. Nora, how do you play peekaboo? Where's Nora? There she is. She is so stinking smart. Anyway, this morning went as most of our mornings go during weekdays. Nora's nanny came for the past few hours, and then after she left, I put Nora down for a nap, and Nora napped for a long time, 2 hours, 2 hours. That was fantastic. So I got a lot of work done, and you can probably hear I have my laundry machine going, and I'm doing some laundry. I already folded Nora's laundry, and now I'm doing ours, and our dishwasher's going, and I actually put a little ravioli bake in the oven for lunch. It's late, it's 2:45, but we haven't had lunch yet. So we're gonna have that in a minute, and then after that, we're gonna head up to the studio to get a little bit more work done. So I just haven't had a chance to start today's vlog yet, but welcome to Vlogmas Day 16. Hopefully we'll have something fun to share this afternoon after all of the work is said and done. We are like so close to the finish line that we can taste it, but it's like, you've just gotta keep going each day with getting orders out and whatever else. So that's the story. It's very, very cold. I just got off of FaceTime with my mom who lives across the country, and it is a total, like, I mean, a blizzard is probably too strong a word, but it is just a white out there. There's, whoa, uh-oh. There's big snowflakes coming down, and she was showing me outside. It was all covered in snow. It's so beautiful. So we're not quite there yet, but it's very, very cold here today. Let's see. It's 39 degrees, so that's very chilly. Last night, I made a big roaring fire in the fireplace, and we put Nora to bed, and I was just getting some work done on my computer on the couch, and Riley fell sound asleep sitting on the couch. He was just watching a football game that he had recorded from a previous day, and it was just so nice. It was like a deep breath. It was really a nice evening. So we're gonna have lunch, and then we're gonna go up to the studio to get some work done. Yes, we are, big girl. And this evening, we will probably make a good dinner and have another big fire. So welcome to day 16 of Vlogmas. Nora's been able to walk for like 6 to 8 weeks, but she was still crawling most of the time. And in the past 3 days, she just walks. All she does is walk. Isn't that right? You're a big walking girl. All right, I just finished sorting today's run. I've got my baskets going. I still have some more to do. Well, some of these are extras, and so there will probably be an inventory sale in the first quarter of next year, which is unusual. I usually only do an inventory sale on Black Friday, but because we have all these extras, I think I'll probably do one to get them out of our studio the beginning of next year. Nora's been up here hanging out with Riley for a while, and he's been pushing her around in this. This is how he moves garments around the shop. Do you like playing in here with Daddy? Yeah? Here we go. Who needs Disney? She loves it. Yay!
Go the other way.
Whoa! It's really cute how much she loves it. Whoa, Daddy! Boom! Boom, 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 boom.
You want out? No, you want to stay in there?
Oh, she loves it. Whoa. Whoa. What are you up to, Nornie? Yeah. That's so fun, huh? All right, we're sitting fireside, and Nora didn't have a chance to do her advent calendar this morning, so we're gonna do it now.
Oh, little girl in pajamas.
Oh, she's adorable.
What I'm saying. Here you go. Hi.
Nora, can you pet Charlie? Good job. Gentle, gentle.
Oh, she's hugging him.
Oh. Give him some pats.
You want to hug him? Can you pet him? Can you hug him? That's right. You love Charlie.
That's so sweet. What's this crazy girl doing?
You love our house.
She'll just hug anything. All right, the table's all set. We're having some red wine because we're having steak tonight. And I pulled out some butter and brown sugar to go with our sweet potatoes. And I need to move the tripod that I was filming the time lapse on, but we have a roaring fire and Charlie Bear. He's getting groomed tomorrow. If y'all remember on December 1st when we made steak the last time, we made this steak sauce that was so good, and I froze little nuggets of it, or however you want to say, in like a baby food frozen cube tray thing. And so we pulled 2 of them out. These are going to go back in the freezer, and we're going to let these thaw and warm them up to have with our steak tonight. All right, here's dinner all plated up. So of course we have some steak. We actually have filet mignon tonight and some steamed broccoli plus a sweet potato, and here's that delicious steak sauce. Yum, yum, yum. Well, hello. I am so excited right now because I have wanted to film in front of my fire. We have a fire almost every night when it's cold outside, and it's been very cold for the past few days. And every night when it's crackling and it's so relaxing, I think, oh, I should totally film in front of the fire so that we get this like cozy ambiance. In fact, I should probably scoot over a little bit so you can enjoy it instead of just enjoying my big head in front of it. And I have a whole bunch of laundry to fold. Nora, I just put Nora down for bed, and Riley is up at the, we had dinner together as you saw, so delicious, and he's back up at the studio working. And so I'm just enjoying the fire by myself, and I have all this laundry to fold, so I thought I would do a little laundry chat. Oh, throwback. While I fold some of my clothes, like Nora's little cute penguin zip-up fleece. Adorable. This is actually, I already folded Nora's laundry earlier today. So there might just be a few stragglers in here. Like here is a pair of her little socks. But I just thought I would chat. I want to chat mostly about childhood holiday Christmas memories, because I had a lot of requests to share more about my, you know, traditions and things like that from growing up. So I will certainly do that. But before I do that, I briefly want to talk about anxiety, depression, and medication. So a bit heavier, and then we'll move into a bit lighter. I have been so anxious for the past 4 or 5 days. I know that I have said it, if I've said it once, I've said it 300 times here on YouTube, but my online shop and business right now is just very stressful. It's just been so difficult with all of the delays, the manufacturing delays, supplier issues, and then adding on top of that, all the mail system is so overloaded, as I'm sure you all know. And so with that, it's just everything is super delayed, and there's more than ever that's out of my control. And I have just been struggling to sleep. I've been feeling very anxious about it, and it's just been really rough. But it's been interesting because this is really, we're in December, clearly, we're in mid-December. And this is really the first time in all of 2020 that I have felt anxious for more than a few moments or maybe a few hours. Like, I've been feeling anxious here for a few days, which is why I put on this sweatshirt today that says exhale, because I thought, you know, I needed the reminder. But I think a big part of that, of me feeling more leveled out, is that I went on an antidepressant. I went on an SSRI, which is a classification of medication, last December. And I actually think I started my medication on exactly a year ago today. I told Riley at dinner, I said, I think it was like the 16th, 17th, 18th. It was like the late teens of December. It really doesn't matter, but the point is that I've been on it now for a full year. There was a time in the spring when I thought I was ready to wean off of it, and so I talked to my doctor and started going through the weaning process, and I was not ready. And she said to me, as long as you're nursing regularly, you'll probably need it or feel like you need it, because the hormones with nursing a lot of times are what make women feel that extra level of, you know, depression or anxiety. And so I was diagnosed. The reason why I went on it to begin with, of course, was because I was diagnosed with postpartum depression. And that was probably partially hormonal and partially circumstantial. I had a really rough postpartum. Anyway, well, it's been such a blessing. Medication has been such a blessing to me over the past year, because I have just been in such better spirits, and I just feel so much more leveled out and stable, and it's just been a really important tool for me over the past year. So I am never going to push anything on anyone, but if you're in a place where you're feeling extremely anxious or depressed, I just really encourage you to open up and talk to your doctor about that and see if maybe trying medication or therapy or a combination of both would be the right fit for you, because I can't even explain to you what a difference it made for me. I was in like the darkest, deepest pit of my life, and now I'm in such a better place, and part of that again is circumstantial, but I know that the medication has helped. And so in the past few days of feeling anxious, it's been really interesting, because as I said, that's not something that I used to be a person that would regularly have longer bouts of anxiety. So I would regularly go 3 or 4 or 5 days not sleeping, really stressed, very anxious, very regularly. And I honestly have not had that experience now in a calendar year. And so I can feel like I notice when this anxiety comes on so much more, because it feels so much more stark, because it's no longer my normal. And I am so grateful to say that, because I just had no idea that there was basically like another way. I don't find myself having obsessive thoughts and those sorts of things. So anyway, it's just been a really important tool for me in this first year postpartum, and I am just so grateful. I'm so grateful for my midwives who just really went above and beyond for me to make sure that I was diagnosed. They had this like elaborate questionnaire for me at my 2-week appointment, and then at my 6-week appointment, and we talked about it, and we talked on the phone, and they were the ones that set up the appointment with the doctor for me to go in. But I know a lot of women's practices, whether, you know, midwives or obstetricians, actually don't screen for postpartum depression or anxiety. So especially if you're a postpartum mama, there is no shame if you need to call a doctor. You could just call your OBGYN and say, hey, I'm really struggling with anxiety and or depression. Can I come in? You can go right on in and figure out what the right next steps are for you. I just want to say that it's an option, because I remember when I was struggling so badly, it felt like it felt like climbing Mount Everest. Everything felt so overwhelming. Here I had a brand new baby who was a few weeks old, and I was really struggling, and now I'm trying to figure out my mental health. It felt like something that I couldn't even figure out, but the reality was that when I sorted my mental health out, every other aspect of life seemed easier and more doable and less overwhelming. So that's my little big sister talk to you, especially if you're a new mom, but really anyone. Sometimes we need extra support, whether it's through therapy, which I've talked about at length on this channel. I love therapy. Whether it's through medication, whether it's both. It's just a tough year, and sometimes we do need that extra support. So there's that. This is obviously going to be very, very warm on my back. I should have thought of that, which I guess I did, but it's very, very warm. I actually might open up our door back there to get a little air in here because I think I'm gonna like pass out with this heat. So hot. But can you hear the crackling? I love that sound. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about traditions. Growing up with our Christmas traditions. I celebrated Christmas growing up. And it was, so first of all, my birthday is December 9th. And so let's start there. So for my birthday every year, my parents never ever made me feel like, oh, your birthday's so close to Christmas, or I never had that feeling. Whenever not whenever, a lot of times when I tell people I have a December birthday, they're like, oh, that must be so rough. But it never was. I love having a December birthday so much. I love having a birthday nestled right in my favorite time of year between Thanksgiving and New Year's. Like, I think it's so magical and I absolutely love it, and I would not change it for anything. So with that, my parents actually really ran with the whole December birthday thing. And actually every single year until I was like 13 or 14, but from like 4 years old to 14, so for like the bulk of my childhood birthday parties, we would have some friends and family over, or cousins or whoever, you know. And my mom would go to the deli at our local grocery store, and if you can think of those little white styrofoam deli plates that are like this, that they wrap like, I mean, anything, like 2 steaks could be wrapped in it or whatever. Well, she would go there and ask if she could have like 15 of those or 12 or however many she needed. And she and my dad, the night before my birthday party, every single year would have some of their friends over, and they would all sit around and drink wine, and they would build 12 gingerbread houses, one for every child that was going to come to my party. And so every year that was the main thing we did at my birthday party, and it was so much fun. So my parents would, like I said, let's say there was 12 kids coming. I think that was probably about average. So they would have 6 of us on each side, and we would have these blank gingerbread houses, and they would actually build them out of graham crackers, and they would have them, you know, sitting up there on those little styrofoam plates. And then down the center of the table, my mom would go to the candy aisle at the grocery store, and she would buy, I mean, everything. We had gumdrops and Jolly Ranchers and licorice and chocolate and Kit Kats and Skittles and Nerds and like every kind of candy all down the middle of the table, along with several bowls of icing. And we would just sit there. I'm sure we probably did some other things at my birthday parties, but that's really the only thing I remember, because we would sit there for like at least an hour of the party, and we would all build our gingerbread houses. Well, I should say we would all decorate our gingerbread houses. They were already built, which was smart, because building a gingerbread house is not the easiest for little kids. And it was so much fun, and the parents of the kids loved it, because it was always fun that their kid, you know, would come home with a gingerbread house, and that was sort of like the favor. I don't ever remember doing like goodie bags. Like, the favor was that you got a gingerbread house, and I just loved it. I loved it so much. So I did that all through my childhood years. Walmart sweater number 1, Walmart sweater number 2. I love these sweaters so much. People always ask me where I got them, and I'm like, $11 at Walmart. So anyway, those are my birthday memories. It was always really, really a good time, and like I said, I'm sure we did some other things, but the only thing I ever really the thing that sticks with me is gingerbread house decorating. I actually have my baby book, like my memory album, in my office, and it has pictures of us doing the gingerbread houses. So that was my birthday. And then my favorite day of the year, always growing up, was Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Eve, for the bulk of my childhood, we would go over to my maternal grandmother's house, who is sadly the one who passed away this summer. And she lived in this really cozy, charming little townhouse for the bulk of my childhood. Now, she raised 9 children, and they lived in a single family home, but I guess I was born when she still lived in that home, but I don't remember that. I only remember her townhome, which she lived in, like I said, for most of my childhood. And we would go, so every Christmas Eve, I think I just loved the anticipation of it all. I loved the anticipation of all the festivities of Christmas Eve, which I'll talk about, and then of Santa coming to visit our house and Christmas Day. And I think that anticipation tasted so sweet that it made me love Christmas Eve even more than Christmas Day. And I loved Christmas Eve growing up. I still love it. But I always used to say when I was a kid that it was my favorite day of the year. So Christmas Eve, I don't know what we would do in the mornings. I don't think we would do much of anything, but we would always around 4:00 p.m. we would get all dressed up and we would go out to church, and we would go to the Christmas Eve service, which I love Christmas Eve services. I love them because almost always everybody gets a candle, and everybody, they turn off all the lights and you pass the candle light around and you sing Silent Night, and it's just beautiful and stunning in every single way, and I love it. And there's always a lot, it's so cozy, and there's always lights around and candles lit in the church, and everyone looks so beautiful in all their Christmas outfits, and there's just this cozy, blessed comfort of Christmas Eve services that I just still, like, I love so much. We've got to figure out what we're doing church-wise for Christmas Eve, because we have got to find somewhere to go, for sure. So that's that for Christmas Eve service. Then after Christmas Eve service, we would go over, to my mom's house for dinner with that side of the family. So as I mentioned, my mom is the youngest of 9 children, and I have 19 biological cousins, meaning they are direct children of a blood relative of mine, so like one of my mom's siblings. And then I have another 20 step cousins, because my grandmother got remarried when she was 65 to a man with 13 kids. So like big family times 10. It was huge. But we didn't really do a lot with that side of the family. They would do for Christmas Eve. Sometimes some of them would be there on Christmas Eve, but normally it was mostly my mom and her siblings and my biological cousins. I feel weird making that differentiation, but you know what I'm saying. Basically, I had like 39 first cousins, but 19 of them were like biological, or however you want to say it, were connected to me by my mom's siblings and not by marriage. So those 19 cousins were usually at Christmas Eve, at least most of them, not always all of them because they live up and down the East Coast, but most of them would be there on Christmas Eve. And then we would do a gift exchange. So every year backing up to Thanksgiving, we would put names in a hat and pull names out. And like I would get my one cousin Caroline, and Caroline would get my sister Allie, and Allie would get my cousin Meredith, and whatever. It was just random. And there was a $20 spending limit, but we would all, you know, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And I remember I was always so excited when one of my older girl cousins picked my name, because I felt like, oh, she's gonna get me something so cool. You know, I just loved it. I loved it. So we did a little cousin gift exchange, and then my mom always, she had so many people to buy for, y'all. I mean, she must have had, just like in her immediate family, meaning her 9 children and then her 19 grandchildren on that side, plus her 13 stepchildren, which sounds weird because she never really raised them, because she got remarried when she was 65, but she and her husband had been her new husband had been friends all their lives. So she actually knew all those kids, so she would buy them gifts. So that's 13 plus all of their 20 kids. It was like, I can't even imagine. But she was one of those people who, she just loved buying gifts. Oh my gosh, she loved it. And sometimes she would buy the most random, like she would buy if she found something she liked, she would buy like 10 of them for every member of the family. So like, I remember my dad one year and all the other men, all my mom's brothers, all the in-law spouses that were men, all the older boy cousins, they all got this like outdoor bird. It had like birds on it, like this ceramic circle thing, and it was a thermometer. So like when it would get hotter, the thermometer would go up and you could see like 70 degrees, 80 degrees, whatever. Well, anyway, she must have bought 15 of them because everybody got one. One year she bought this, like, she loved like as seen on TV kind of stuff, and so everybody got some like special car wash mitt. I don't even really remember the gifts that she got us, but I remember the feeling of being over there in her house on Christmas Eve, and it was like this magical comfort, family warmth that she had a big wood burning fireplace in her living room, and it always smelled so good in there because she would have been cooking all day, and it was just like full of all of my family. It was just packed with people, and there was just laughter, and it was so much fun. And she was used to having kids everywhere because she raised 9 of them, so she would let us do like whatever. So we would like take the mattress off the twin bed and ride it down the townhouse stairs on Christmas Eve, and we were always getting into something over there, and it was so much fun. So I loved Christmas Eve. So that was Christmas Eve, and then we would be all sleepy, and my parents would load us up, and this townhouse was 2 miles from my childhood home, so we would drive, you know, around the corner, and I remember so many Christmas Eves where it would be snow flurrying on the way home, and it was like genuinely perfect and amazing in every way. And then we would go home and we would change into pajamas, and my parents would remind us that we have to stay in our beds and that Santa's gonna come, and that we didn't have a fireplace growing up, so that they were going to unlock the front door so Santa could come in the front door because he couldn't come down the chimney because we didn't have a chimney. And we would, I swear I heard reindeer hooves like on the roof of my childhood home every Christmas Eve. I would like hear the click, 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 and we would put carrots out front, and we would always leave a glass of milk for Santa with some cookies. And I mean, it was just so wonderful. It was so magical. And then that was Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day was also so special. And so we wake up on Christmas morning and go wake up our parents, and we were not allowed to go downstairs. We were not allowed to go downstairs as much as we wanted to until they were awake, and we would go, I mean, I'm sure when we were younger at the actual crack of dawn, like 5 or 6 a.m. As we got older, I remember being more like 8:30 or 9, but we would go wake them up. And once we got them up, which was usually pretty challenging because they were probably, you know, pretty exhausted, we would get to go downstairs and open up our stockings. I'm trying to think where our stockings would have been because we didn't have a fireplace. I think they were laying on the stairs, like going into the main level, maybe? I honestly don't remember. Maybe on the stairs. Well, in our stockings, it would just be like candy and little trinkets and toys and things like that. But every single thing in all of our stockings, no matter how tiny it was, would be wrapped. So like we would always get orange Tic Tacs. That's something that we got in our stockings every single year. And the little orange Tic Tac container would always be wrapped in wrapping paper. But my wrapping paper was different from my sister's, and hers was different from my brother. So we all had our own different wrapping paper. And we would see in the main living area, we would each have several gifts wrapped in that wrapping paper of our stocking, and they didn't have any labels on them. So the only way you knew which gifts were yours was once you opened up your stockings. So it was like this whole thing. You had to get my parents up to get the stockings, and once we got the stockings, we knew what wrapping, you know, which gifts were ours under the tree, and we could go and open up those gifts under the tree. So that was the story. And probably, you know, the most memorable gift I ever remember getting was when I was in maybe like 4th or 5th grade, like late elementary school. We never had a dog growing up, and all I wanted ever in my life was a dog, and we never ever had one. And on Christmas morning, I opened up this precious, I still have him, he's in a box in the garage, this little stuffed dog that is the cutest stuffed dog ever. And he was, I think he was a Beanie Baby brand, and that his name was Scooter, and I loved him. And I unwrapped this box, and he was in it, and there was a big red bow around his neck with a tag from Santa that said, "Sorry, I couldn't get you the real thing." And that became like my cherished possession, Scooter. I loved him. I loved him so much. And I took him with me to college, and I had him with, like, I don't think I really like slept with him in college, maybe my freshman year, I don't really remember. But I kept him, and I still have him in like a bin in the garage, and I'll never get rid of him because he was so precious to me. That's probably like the most memorable gift because it was just, I don't know why, I just loved him. I love that little Scooter guy. So that was Christmas, and then Christmas afternoon, we did different things at different times of life. There was a period of time where we would have a Christmas Day party, and so friends and neighbors and family would all come over during the day, and we would have a Christmas party during the day, and then in the evening we would go over my paternal grandmother, Mimi, her house for dinner, and we would open gifts with her. She would have been over with us during the day, and we would open gifts with her in the evening. And then there was a period, so that happened for some of my childhood, and then the later part, we just ended up going over to my Aunt Sharon's house, and she would have like a big brunch for all of us, and then we would have a like appetizers and then dinner. So we would spend like from, let's say, like noon to 10 p.m. over at her house, and we would exchange gifts with her and with my cousins. I only have 2 cousins on that side, so totally different dynamics between like a summer camp of people on my mom's side and a much smaller crew on my dad's side. And so it was really fun to have both of those experiences growing up. And sorry for the random jump cut. My battery died, and while I was up, I opened up the door to get a little air in here because like I am sweating from this fire. Anyway, so we would spend the day over at my Aunt Sharon's house, and it was so wonderful. And as we got older, she started doing these really fun games. And I think I actually have vlogged like 2 years ago or something. I vlogged Christmas Day at her house, and it's just a blast. And we like, she was a teacher for a lot of years, and so she has such a mind for that sort of thing. And anyway, we would have so much fun, and then she would have gift cards that we could win, and we would all get competitive and play. It was just super, super, super fun. So I have such cherished, amazing memories as a child of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. More than any other day of the year, those 2 days are just sacred to me and always have been. And certainly we had traditions, like my Mimi, who is my dad's mom, she would always spend a whole day baking dozens upon dozens of cookies, and she would invite her grandkids over, and we would go over there and help her like roll out the cookies. And it was fun, but also very serious. If you ask my sister is a lot more loosey-goosey than I am. I'm a lot more type A, and she was like, I don't like going over there and making those cookies because there's too many rules. Because Mimi liked it done. Mimi was also an educator, and she was also very type A and very German and very stern, very warm and loving too, but just liked things just so, which I get. And so anyway, those cookies were no exception. And it was not just willy-nilly, just make the cookies whatever. No. It was very specific. You rolled it out to this much thickness, you added this, you put it in the oven for this amount of time, you took them off the sheets this way. It was very specific, and if you were messing them up, you would get scolded in a very nice way, but like, Blair, why don't you go do such and such, because you were like jacking them up, so you had to do it the right way. So that's one tradition, and like the stories that go along with that crack me up. I love talking to my sister Allie about it, because she's like, oh, I remember one time I put them in the oven for 2 minutes too long and they were a little darker. You know, it's funny like what we think of, you know, the things that our grandparents cared about and stuck with or whatever. So that was one tradition that was really fun. And I'm sure I mean, there's so many. We would drive around and look at Christmas lights for sure. Whenever there was snow, we would always go out. My siblings and I would go out and play in the snow. Snow days were the very, very best. But yeah, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day were always just my very favorite of the whole year. In particular, Christmas Eve. I think, like I said, that anticipation just was so sweet to me. I loved it. So, you know, this year we are in Texas for Christmas, and so we are kind of coming up with, this is our first Christmas where Nora's not a tiny infant and I'm not on bed rest. So this is the first chance we really have to kind of come up with our own, you know, family traditions. And so we're kind of trying to figure out what we want to do on Christmas Eve, and we were talking about it the other day. And I think it'll, you know, as Nora gets older, there's more options, and as we're not in, you know, like a global pandemic, but still I'm really looking forward to this coming Christmas. And you know, we just have some gifts under the tree. I'm excited for Nora to get to open her bitty baby. Oh, and it's just going to be a really special time. I just know it, no matter what. So anyway, there's a little fireside laundry chit chat for you all. I hope you enjoyed. I know a lot of you were asking about childhood memories and Christmases of years past and whatnot, so hopefully this filled in that with a little bit more color. But I'm going to wrap up this vlog now. I got almost all of my laundry folded, which is fantastic. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Vlogmas day 17. Thank you so much for following along with me this month and with each day. This has been such an amazing creative outlet for me to have filming to look forward to and editing to look forward to in a time, like I said, where I have been feeling kind of anxious and it's been stressful with work. This has truly felt like just pure fun and like a hobby to enjoy, and I'm so grateful for that. And a huge part of that is all of you who have shown up each day and are watching my videos and, you know, sending me sweet comments. I just really appreciate it. So I'll see you tomorrow for day 17. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a really good day.